Falcon 9. On December 21st, 2015, the first stage of SpaceX's Falcon 9 rocket came back from their orbital launch and landed successfully and safely at Cape Canaveral. SpaceX created the Falcon 9. Elon Musk is the founder and CEO of SpaceX. SpaceX says the Falcon 9 is a reusable two-stage rocket designed and manufactured by SpaceX for the reliable and safe transport of people and payloads into Earth orbit and beyond. Falcon 9 is the world's first orbital-class reusable rocket. This is a picture of the Falcon 9 rocket online. For a real-world comparison of how tall this rocket is, if it laid down on a football field, it would stretch from end zone to end zone and still have a little extra. It is 20 meters taller than the Cinderella Castle at Disney World. This rocket launched from Cape Canaveral to deliver its payload into space. The boosters detached and came back to Earth. They slowed down using cold gas thrusters, also used to make them upright. When they are close to the ground, the legs deploy and come out from the sides of the rocket. The Stage 1 of Falcon 9 landed at Cape Canaveral and made history. This is the first rocket landing ever of an orbital class rocket. It's not working. Technical difficulties. Please stand by. There you go. Yay! It's not much, but as you can see, it's still very impressive. There was lots of media coverage that night, and for all SpaceX launches. This is a typical Google search showing that there's many. I thought this was particularly cool, and this one. It's a long exposure photo of what the rocket looked like. Some things that happened that year leading up to this event were there was a terrible shooting, the Syria refugee crisis, the China stock market crash, a FIFA scandal, Cuba and US restored ties, a climate agreement at a massive summit in Paris, and much more. Many things had to happen to make this possible. Rockets being launched at all, for example, the space program, funding, especially by JFK, competition with Jeff Bezos' Blue Origin, which was a rocket that landed, but it was not an orbital class rocket, and it was much less complex than SpaceX's Falcon 9. SpaceX and the International Space Station was a big driving force for this rocket, so they could supply it and reuse the rocket so it wasn't so expensive. The Falcon 9 rocket landing enabled other rockets to land and paved the way for the Dragon and Crew Dragon, which launched to the ISS and recovered many times. SpaceX continues to launch and land the Falcon 9, which has drastically changed the rocket process. In the past, most rockets were not reusable at all. But now, SpaceX is working to make almost all of the rockets reusable. And this is good because that means it'll be less expensive. And space in the future could potentially become a vacation. Speaking of which, Tom Cruise will be brought to the space station to film a movie on the ISS by the Falcon 9. I also remember watching a show with my dad where Stephen Colbert included the Falcon 9 in one of his shows. He said something inappropriate that made them blur out the Falcon 9 for the rest of the broadcast. Sources. This was the global events, Google obviously, YouTube, and the SpaceX website were all very helpful in making my presentation. Thank you for your time, and I hope you enjoy.